Professor Ron, in recent years, there's been these horrific stories about, captives, people that have been stowed away in someone's home for years. From a screenwriting aspect, what would you have this writer do if some type of law enforcement is approaching a situation like that? They've discovered maybe a tip from a neighbor, and it turns out there's been a few people living in the basement, something to that nature, something really horrific.
Yeah. From my colleagues in law enforcement that I understand is, first off, backup. Do not go in by yourself. Do not go in with just you and your partner. Make sure you have, not necessarily SWAT, but depending on how hostile the person is, you want to approach the door with not trepidation, but you want to be careful. You don't want to tip them off. You maybe pretend that you're the diaper man. Well, that's an old one, but you want to you got to get them to the door is what I'm trying to get at. You have to get them to answer the door because these are recluse people, recluse and reckless. It's not something that you want. Lives are on the line here, so you have to be very cautious, and you have to be very meticulous in your thinking. Try to always know the answers before you even ask a question, type of thing, where you will anticipate, okay, scenarios. That's what cops do. You'll know if it's this scenario, we'll do this. If it's this scenario, we'll do that. If it's this or that, you'll have as much recon as you can about anybody know where are the rooms in the house, where are the escape routes, stuff like that. You have people in the backyard, you have people in the front yard, typical cop stuff that you see on literally cops that show all the time. But you want to do it carefully so that you don't impede on or the possibility or create the possibility of escalated violence.
In some of these cases, it seems like there was a woman harboring a husband, boyfriend, who it seemed like everything was fine from the outside, and then you find out that this person was an accomplice by allowing that person to get away with it. So if there was, let's say, the sweet doting wife at the door, how would you have the officer approach that? I've heard a lot of cases like this, and you're just shocked to find out that.
Generally, from my understanding, and this is maybe more from the news than from conversations, is you give them tells. You kind of hint at things and let them respond with their eyes, or you're reading their body language to know, because generally with a female, it's not the female that is the perpetrator. It is the male unit.
But they're still an accomplice because they've been.
Well, are they? Are they an accomplice, or are they a victim as well? That's the biggest thing that I would interject, particularly as a writer. I would think that they would most likely be a victim that's been beaten down, trodden as well, and not that they're going to show scars on their face. They may have burn marks on their arms, but don't touch the face, as they say. It's easier if you find a beaten up woman to go, okay, domestic violence, let me in now. I'm a cop. If it's something that's a little more covert, a little more, I don't want to say occult, but hidden, you have to, as with anything, you have to tread lightly and ask probing questions that might get them out. Maybe say, can you step out on the porch, please? I like the idea as a writer of maybe a traveling book salesman, if they even have them anymore. Do they have them anymore? I don't know. But something that can you come out and see this? Now, actually, I'm going to twist this. I believe it was Ted Bundy would use a little dog and say, "Can you help me find my little dog?" Maybe you can use the same philosophy of, "Can you come out and help me, do something?" Maybe it's find my little dog. But this is law enforcement speaking, so that you understand what's going on, and then be able to question them away from the person. Because as soon as she steps away, you're going to draw out. The person is going to go, "What the F? What's going on? Why are you here? What are you doing?" And then you can cuff them. If you're going to be that bold. Writer's choice.